Hi there. So, I want to talk about how to have soul confidence when you are being disrespected in a situation where disrespect is a dynamic in the connection. So, sometimes you get into situations with people where the dynamic of your relationship is that that person has no respect for you. But for some or other reason, you either have to remain in that connection or you choose to remain in that connection. The first thing is to first understand that you are in that dynamic with this person. You are in a relationship with whoever you are in a relationship with. It doesn't have to be romantic, of whatever nature, employment, personal, casual. You are in a dynamic with someone where that person systemically disrespects you in the course and scope of your relationship, meaning you tolerate that disrespect, you show up for the disrespect, and you maintain that dynamic on the basis of them disrespecting you. So realize that that's the hardest pill to swallow here, accepting this, that you show up, you participate, you engage in a dynamic where you are being disrespected. The second thing is ask yourself why. Now, the why may be quite straightforward. You need the job, and this person is your boss, and they have no respect for you. And you are in a dynamic with this person where they don't respect you. You are in that marriage, and you are in a dynamic where your spouse has no respect for you. And you are building a life together and a home together. There's a mortgage, there's children, there's social dynamics at play. But the dynamic of the relationship is that they have no respect for you. You are friends with that person and they have no respect for you. Fill in the blank. There are many types of relationships where your dynamic with them can be that they have no respect for you and you show up for that. So recognize it is step one. And please recognize that you show up for this. You participate in this. You are a big part of this disrespectful to you dynamic that you show up for. And the second thing is then to understand, why do you show up for that relationship? Why do you show up in that dynamic? And be honest with yourself. You need the money, you are codependent, you have low self-esteem, you have low self-worth. Be really brutally honest with yourself. This is not the time to hold back here. Please. This is just not the time for that. So once you understand that you are in that dynamic and you understand why you show up for that dynamic, then you can understand your power to shift the dynamic. And shifting the dynamic can mean ending it, but most of the time that's a very extreme thing to do. You don't need to end the whole dynamic if there's something that you are deriving that is good for you from being in it. And what you're deriving isn't always tangible, like money from a job or the satisfaction of being in a partnership where it's your spouse or whoever you're in that dynamic with. What you're deriving can be more difficult to put into tangible terms because it's not something that is material or even perhaps emotional. It can be being a part of a group dynamic where you are being disrespected. And being a part of that group is how you formulate a part of your identity. That's neither emotional nor material, but it's still the reality that you're in a dynamic with people who don't respect you. So then you start to take back your power here. This is when it gets good. You understand that why you are in it is for some benefit on your part. You don't have to destroy the dynamic because you want the benefit. So how can you then shift the dynamic in this situation so that you are no longer the disrespected party, or anyone is being disrespected, and that you are being respected? So first of all, understand and be clear in your mind, what would being respected by this person mean to you? Okay, so for your boss, don't be ridiculous and say it's them paying me $1,000 more or R1,000,000 more or whatever it is. Like, be realistic. In your mind, what would respect in this dynamic mean? What would it look like? How would you feel? And then, what is the version of yourself that shows up to that respectful dynamic with this person? Is it a version of you that is less codependent? Is it a version of you that has more self-respect? Is it a version of you that has stricter boundaries? Is it a version of you that is more compassionate and kind to yourself? what is the version of you that shows up to be respected or to have a respectful dynamic with that person. Then do the work to become that person. That is the only way you're going to shift that dynamic. That person who's disrespecting you is not going to stop disrespecting you just because you don't like it. Okay, if you are in a dynamic where someone is disrespecting you, they don't care whether you like it or not. Someone who cares about you wouldn't disrespect you as a systemic thing in your dynamic. So the power is then in your hands, but you first need to take it back from feeling like, oh, woe is me, it's so bad. No, take your power back. Understand that you are a component of creating this dynamic. Understand what you derive benefit from the dynamic, and then how do you then show up as the version of yourself that is being respected in this dynamic, and then become that person. That's your work. That could perhaps be your shadow work, but that's your work to do. So if the version of you that is respected in your dynamic with your boss, for example, has clearer boundaries and sticks to them, then become a person with clear boundaries who sticks to them. And that's hard work, but that is how you take your power back, by taking full responsibility for how you choose to show up in that dynamic, and then taking the power that you have and using it to shift the dynamic so that you are being respected by the person you are in a dynamic with, because you are showing up as the version of yourself that is in a respectful dynamic with that individual.